So in early labour, if everything's been straightforward with your pregnancy, the best place for you to be is at home. So stay at home as long as you possibly can, because it's your own environment, your own familiar environment. You can rest in your own bed, you can have a lovely bath, you can eat and drink what you want whenever you want, without having to bring everything with you to hospital. And because it's your familiar environment and your domain, you feel much more relaxed there. Of course, do call the labour ward, as mentioned before, if your water's release. Always let the midwife call up there and let the labour ward know. And if there's any meconium in the waters, if you have any bleeding, if you feel unwell or out of sorts, or any pain on urination, if your baby's movements slow down, then always get in touch with the labour ward or just pop in. And just stay at home, stay at home as long as you can, and try and carry on business as usual for as long as possible. So if it's in the middle of the night, I know many midwives say, don't wake your partner, let them rest. I don't know many women who do that. However, it's not a bad idea, because, well, I'll give you a little story. A client of mine, her waters went, I think, about 4 in the morning or something. And she went to the bathroom, came back and thought, oh, hang on a minute, I think my waters might have gone. It's like a slow, steady seeping. Sometimes it's hard to know when they've gone. They don't always go the big dramatic pop and gush. You might not be aware. You might just have this steady seeping. It might take you a while to twig, have my waters gone? I think that's my waters. Anyway, so this happened to her, and her partner was still asleep, so she went back to bed. She put on one of her hypnobirthing MP3s, and she was able to kind of close her eyes, and she dozed off. She dozed for a couple of hours, and then the surgeons woke her up again at about 6:30ish, and then she woke her partner, and he literally sprung into action. He was like, okay, we need to do this, we need to do that. He got the Hoover outside hoovering, and goodness knows, she's literally like a whirlwind of energy. So she said she was really glad that she didn't wake him up at 4 a.m. because there's no way she would have got those 2 and a bit hours sleep. So it's, pretty good advice there, I think, from the midwives. If it's the middle of the day, just carry on and do what you do normally, business as usual. Pre-COVID times, as I film this, we're in our lockdown, but pre-COVID times, I would say, like go out for a walk, go out something to eat, because usually surgeries are very, very mild in early labour, like very mild, and so they're manageable. And sometimes I've got my little chart here I'll hold up. So here, this is showing kind of the surges. As you can see, usually very mild, big gaps in between, maybe kind of coming every 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, lasting 10, 15 seconds or so. And then there might be lovely big long gaps where nothing's felt, just as you're sat here now, nothing at all, unless the mum has what's called a back-to-back baby, where she may have some back discomfort, and getting on all fours position can help with that. So it helps the baby's spine drop away from the mother's back and gives her a bit of comfort, and lots of lovely back massage if possible if you have a birth partner with you. So this can sometimes go on for several days, on and off, for several hours, which may sound like a bit scary, but usually it's very manageable. Of course, there are some women who have like regular strong surges right from the word go, but usually they're a bit of a slow build up, stop start sometimes, until eventually they get closer together, longer and stronger when she's in active or established labour, which we'll look at a bit later. So yes, because they're usually very manageable, she doesn't tend to have to do any breathing exercise or anything like that unless she feels she wants to. And it's only when they kind of start to get more intense that she may want to kind of close her eyes and focus on her breathing. So like I said, business as usual for as long as possible. Do what relaxes you, whatever that may be. Could be like watching a film or some comedy or something, or anything really, just whatever feels good for you to do. Eat and drink as you see fit. Don't hold back on eating and drinking. And what the cervix is doing is kind of going from being thick and long like this here, and it needs to kind of shorten as here, so you can see it's kind of shortening up, and that's what these powerful surges are doing in your early labour. So it might not feel like much is going on, but actually lots and lots and lots is going on. So yes, 100% stay at home, and of course call the midwife anytime you want reassurance or guidance, or anytime you have any of the symptoms that we mentioned in the previous video. So let them know when the waters have gone, any bleeding, if you don't feel well, things like that.